this video, it just upsets me. Celebrating war. Zelensky is in the United States, by the way, campaigning for Democrats. And here's Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, literally getting off on signing rockets. They're going to be used in Russia, like celebrating it. And look at Zelensky in the background. This little douchebag who is as fake as they come. And by the way, we're still giving them $1 billion a month. We're funding Ukraine throughout all of this whole situation with no checks and balances in a war that will never be won. And there is the governor of Pennsylvania, like acting like it's a really good and big deal to try to get more funding for Ukraine, money that's laundered and put back out into campaigns and all kinds of other dirty crap. Hey guys, welcome to Cancel This. We appreciate it. Everybody's nice opening. I like that intro so much better. Well, here's the deal. Our Renew Media Group intro was awesome. It really is. And it's for another part of our business. This is for Cancel This. So it makes sense. And of course, you know what's even better than that is if people like advertise and or donate. That makes it a lot better so we can continue to do all this. Because guess what? Everything we do costs money. This isn't for free. Why do we look as good or better than most podcasts that you see? Because it's a lot of money. And Joe and Pro Joe and Megan can't be that cheap forever.
No.
Yeah. So we got to get things going.
No.
Got to get going. So
we're giving Vic the shakedown.
Shakedown. So we appreciate you guys jumping in today. Big show as always. Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 9 to about 10 a.m. Central. News headlines, politics, the election for 2024. Everything that's wrong in this country. The facts, not your feelings and fictions, and that's what we get into. And then we deal with that stuff after the fact. Grateful for you guys jumping in, liking, subscribing, sharing the show. Join our podcast platform from the variety of sites where you can watch us from, of course, on X, on Rumble, on Facebook, and then, of course, you can watch on YouTube. We're not live on YouTube, but explain it. Yesterday's show is running on YouTube right now, so it's just a day behind when it comes to that. You repurpose it. More people watch when it's not live. May not make sense, but guess what? It's reality. And we're glad that we can use that. So coming up today, lots of Donald Trump news. Lots. He had a big night in Pennsylvania. He also made another announcement about going back to Pennsylvania. He calls out John Deere. This is why you need a leader who's not worried about people's feelings. He's worried about running a country. Because when you're a president, you have to act like a CEO. You can't act like a kindergarten babysitter or somebody's like, well, how do you feel about that, Johnny? Is this going to work for you? Would you like some ice cream tonight with Joe Biden? No, you've got to make tough decisions. Any CEO of a Fortune 500 company deals with shit, and you have to find a way to deal with it. And you have to be tough and you have to be strong. And leadership is not fun. Let me tell you that. It is not fun. I'm going to repeat it again. Leadership is not fun. If it was, everybody be doing it and
That's
everybody
true.
Would be good at it. You're going to piss people off. You're going to hurt feelings. People are going to think that you don't like them, but you got to look at the company and what's going on. The company in this case is the country. We'll get into Zelensky. Yeah, he's in the United States campaigning for Democrats. Need I say more? JD Vance schools some news reporter. I feel sorry for the girl because I've seen a lot of younger reporters. It's not their fault. They have bosses. It's the leadership within the newsrooms, local and national, that don't teach these younger people how to be true journalists, how to ask questions that are not biased to one side or not, unless they're being told they have to do it. We've got that. Also, some Diddy information. Why have 300 entertainment execs, CEOs quit? Literally retired right after the Diddy arrest. I think it's another one of those shiny objects in the corner. Oh, let's go look at this. Why Diddy now? Mm-hmm. Why is an elections coming up? I think it's also to take our attention off some of the things that are going on. And then we get some more news about assassination teams going after Donald Trump. And of course, it wouldn't be a show unless we weren't provided some lie or some entertainment from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So we're ready to rock and roll. How are you feeling today, Megan?
I feel great. Yeah. I mean, I wish the sun would come out, and brighten things up a little bit. I'm not a rainy day person. But that's just here in the St. Louis area. Yeah. But we're all over. Other than that, I feel sunshiny somewhere. I'm ready to rock and roll. And personally, I could give a crap about P. Diddy. I don't care about anything that's going on with him. I'm not shocked at all.
You should be. Not him, but all the execs.
Oh yeah, but he is,
especially in the industry that you work with, sex trafficking.
Yeah, and that's just it. I'm not shocked by it, by any of it. And
yeah, because you expected it. The rest of us didn't.
Yeah, and so it's not distracting me like it is, I think, for many folks. I think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this, and shocked by it. But I mean, if Justin Bieber's song was not a prelude to
this. We played that song before, or we read the lyrics here before.
Yeah, I mean, if I mean, think about that. If you go back and you listen to that, it's creepy.
Not just him. Eminem has some lyrics too. Eminem had lyrics to a song where he was talking about sexual assaults happening within the music industry. So, I mean, and it's all coordinated at the highest levels. And then you look at who these people support. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Democrats. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. But I do wonder if they're going to Epstein this guy, this Diddy,
Eddie Griffith came out on a podcast and said that he's a walking dead man.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, that was his quote right now.
You know how much stuff he's got? I mean, that he is full of
maybe we just say it now. I'll just say it because not that we have to spend a ton of time on it as we welcome people into the show. 300 Entertainment, Nike, and Warner Music CEOs have stepped down in the immediate days since Diddy was arrested. You don't think there's a connection there? You better damn well believe there's a connection. And in many of those cases where there is an heir to take over, the heir is now taking over, whether they were in the business or not. I was doing a little research and reading on that last night going, holy crap. Even the CEO, Paul Mitchell. And I'm like, damn, this is a big deal. And it just goes to show what's happening from a sex standpoint in this country. And why is it happening now? Why right now when we're under 2 months away from an election?
Yeah.
About a month and a half away from an election. And the Diddy stuff is hitting right now.
Yeah.
It's not by chance.
Yeah, it can't be. There's just absolutely no way. And with all of these people that we know are involved, they are just, oh my gosh, they're cringing. Like you said, the 300 execs that just up and walked away. I mean, there are people that are scared to death for their lives. But like, I think it was Jay or someone just said, another sex scandal, and nothing's going to come of it. I mean, we're still waiting for the Epstein list. We're still waiting for people to,
But Donald Trump says he will release the Epstein list.
I think
who in America would not vote for Donald Trump just to get that damn list so that people and young women and young boys and young men can get justice that they deserve? Because if you have a guy that's willing to release that and release the JFK, even if we're not talking policy, why wouldn't you vote for that guy? And of course, Kamala says she's not even talking about it.
This is a distraction from the Epstein list.
And that's what I was saying.
Well, I'm still
a distraction from somebody.
Yeah, I still want that Epstein list. And I think it's really irresponsible that we have not heard anything about that in a long time.
Well, why do you think Donald Trump has these attempts on his life? Yeah. Donald Trump, I'm telling you, it all connects.
He is a hunted
because
man.
He knows all the bullshit that's out there that Democrats don't want to talk about. And then you start to look, and I'm not saying it's all Democrats who are on the list, but I guarantee the right Democrats who are in positions are on there who they don't want you to know about.
Yeah.
That's why it hasn't been released. Why? You have Democrats, we care about women. Abortion. F that and F you if you're going to say you care about women. Yet, where is your gusto for getting the list released? Nowhere. Yeah. We talk about facts on the show. We come straight, we look you dead in the eye, and we come with facts, not feelings. We come with fact and truth and real issues and real questions. Why not? Where's the Epstein list? And why aren't you pushing for that at the same time you're pushing for, quote, women's health care?
Women's rights, women, anything for women, but everybody goes silent when it comes to something like this. And it really makes you wonder why Democrats are so afraid of Donald Trump getting in office again, it makes you wonder why there is literally a bounty on his head, why he is a hunted man, why so many people will go to any measure to take this guy out. It really makes you wonder. And it's because he doesn't care. He's not trying to save face. He
isn't on any of these lists, and he's done nothing wrong. But once again, the right Democrats all in the wrong situation right now.
And he's not swimming in the same, dirty swamp that the bureaucrats, the deep state, and all these people are swimming in. He doesn't care. And so, and these people know that he's coming for you.
Why do you think
he's not going to stop? And they're just so afraid. And even people that aren't even in the political, arena, they're so afraid because they know that he's a no nonsense guy and he's coming for you, whether it's for you pushing for transgender rights and, you wanting to push for children being able to go and mutilate themselves. He's there to put his foot down and be like, look, you people are crazy and I'm not going to stand for it. And I think that just ruffles their feathers so much.
We have a lot to talk about and it's an hour and it goes fast. We do try to get to your comments as much as we can. Feel free. Don't be afraid to jump in, especially if you're new. And we want to remind people, and we always have people go, I can't get on Facebook today. You can watch on Facebook, but you can also watch, as we say, on Rumble. X has a massive amount of followers where you can watch us live as well there. So just want to make sure you know where you can watch us. And of course, you can watch all of our content. We're on YouTube as well. We're not live on YouTube, but the show is running from yesterday. And we have new content coming out on all of our platforms on a daily basis. By the way, one of our reels from last week now, I think I thought yesterday, like 106,000 views already. So you guys are there. We're doing the right thing. We're pushing it out and we appreciate it. Don't be surprised if you can't get on. We know these things happen. They do. Whether it's on purpose or not, you do have other options. There you go. So will more come out about this with Diddy? 300. And guess what? Guess who isn't covering it? Local media, national media, because they never cover anything that is or do investigative journalism that really matters on a regular basis. People care about this stuff.
Yeah. And someone made the point earlier that Soros, all of the media networks are Soros backed, owned by Soros. And it makes sense because you don't hear these kinds of things on mainstream media. And everything that you hear is all, whether it's blatantly obvious or if it's just little by little, it's all left leaning. They don't want to be a part of exposing the truth on anything. And especially if it comes to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. They want to promote and push Kamala Harris because she's so wonderful. She's so great. She's so smart. She's, a great prosecutor. She's Black. She's Indian. She's a female, all of these wonderful things. And then Trump is just, he's just bad. He's just a bad man. And then, the question is, well, think back to your pocketbook back when he was in office. Does that matter to you? Or, I'm sorry, I forget that Kamala Harris only runs with the elite. She only runs with billionaires. She only runs with people that have no idea what it's really like to live in our country right now when things are astronomically high. Gas right now is reasonable. Everything else is still high.
The latest from Polymarket, the Polymarket odds. And it's something that I follow. I love it. It's where money is being wagered when it comes to the elections of 2024. Right now, Republicans have a 7% advantage to win the presidency, the House, and the Senate over Democrats. I'll repeat that for you. According to Polymarket, this isn't me saying it. This isn't Cancel This or Megan or Projo. This is according to Polymarket odds. People who are placing wagers, placing bets where the money is going. Republicans now have a 7% advantage over Democrats to sweep all three: the presidency, the House, and the Senate. And I know that's going to piss off Democrats. We're just reporting what's out there. All right. So that's latest information. Also, from the chat line, Robert from the People's Podcast platform. I had somebody tell me this last week. Get this. Things aren't adding up. It's 2024. And that's why we've put such an emphasis on the election, on Donald Trump. Just think about this. Last week, the Federal Reserve lowers the interest rates by 50 basis points. Then the bond market goes down. Exclamation point. Think about it. Goes down. That's not right. Things are not adding up. That's not what's supposed to happen. Yeah. It's concerning. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening right now, and it's not as it's always been.
No.
And here we are.
And we are not unburdened. We are still burdened by what has been.
That was her Kamala joke, by the way, for people who don't know.
And what is still happening. We are burdened. We need Donald Trump to unburden us by what we have been burdened, period. And I think, was it Donna? You just said, about Trump being with the farmers yesterday and talking, and you learned a lot. And I did too. And I think that people forget that we absolutely have to have farmers to survive. 110%. And, people talk about all these other, industries. We talk about, getting endorsed by different groups, whether it's, the IRS, God forbid, the police and in all of these different groups, the Teamsters. We have to support our farmers or we don't survive as a country. And so we have to start putting more emphasis on these people and what they do and how just vital they are to our economy. And, and they need to make a living as well. And I think that that's why it was so great when Donald Trump said yesterday, he's like, look, the first call I'm going to make when I'm in the Oval Office is to Xi Jinping. And, and it's a tongue twister, but, and for him to come back and say, hey, man, we made a $50 billion deal.
Well, we got that soundbite.
Yeah.
We've got this. As a matter of fact, Joe, can we run the John Deere deal? And I didn't mean to try.
No. Yeah. But it's super important. And so, and I love that you guys see that as well, because I think that they get overlooked a lot.
Well, of course, and we do work with Cancel This through Renew Media Group. We work in the ag industry. So Joe and I do a lot of videos and work. 2023 for swine and poultry were the worst years that they'd had in recent memory. If the farmers are going down, start thinking about how that's going to affect us, our produce, and the things that we have and the food that we have in the grocery stores as well. Here's Donald Trump yesterday as Megan let us into this. He's calling out John Deere. This is what a leader does. Kamala Harris, and the reason we bring up Kamala is because she's running for president. Now, she didn't earn it. She was placed there, and she's not a leader. She does not have this kind of fortitude. She does not have this kind of backbone, and she certainly doesn't have the brain because she has shown us with fact that she can't process policy. Listen to Donald.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company. But as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%. They haven't started it yet. Maybe they haven't even made the final decision yet, but I think they have. John Deere is going to, and anybody else that does this, because it's hurting our farmers, it's hurting our manufacturing. And if you do that, you're going to have a 200% tariff put on the product that you make in Mexico, right across the border. They think they're going to make product cheaper in Mexico and then sell it in for the same prices they did before, make a lot of money by getting rid of our labor and our jobs, and really a great name, because John Deere is a great name. I buy a lot of John Deere, tremendous. I'm one of their big customers. I buy a lot of John Deere product as a private person. But if they're going to do that, we're going to put a 200% tariff on everything that they want to send back into the United States, which means one of two things. Our country is going to make a lot of money, or they're not going to build, they're not going to open, and or they're going to sell it to another country.
Yep, that's leadership. Once again, as we started the show saying, leadership is not easy. You have to have a person, man or woman, who knows how to be a tough CEO, make the tough decisions, can't worry about somebody else's feelings when it comes to the best for this country. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump left office and we were sitting in the driver's seat, cruise control in so many areas, specifically this industry, specifically with tariffs and China, and it's all changed. And he put John Deere on notice, as he should have. It is about America first. We're not worried about other areas of the world. You got to take care of our base first. When we're strong, then we can be strong and the world can be strong. Donald Trump is a leader, and that may upset some people because, oh, he's tough. He's mean. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Once again, leadership is not easy and it's not fun. And when you're the leader, I guarantee you're going to upset people, and you're going to upset people who work for you, and you're going to upset a lot of people around you. But you know what? You can't worry about it. There is a mission. There is a job that has to get done. And my God, am I grateful for that man being willing to go through hell for all of us.
And he's not mean. He's a strong leader. And if you think that that's mean, I'm completely fine with that. We need someone that's unafraid, that walks into a room, commands and demands respect. I'm not looking for a leader of our country to go in and want to hand out Kleenex to all the snowflakes that can't handle what he has to say. He ran his very first campaign on America First. And why shouldn't we be first? We're supposedly the beacon of light in the world, and we're the strongest, and we're the leader, and we set the precedent for everything. And yet we depend on so many other countries for so many things. And it's ridiculous. And we should start putting tariffs on whether it's a foreign entity or a local entity.
Yeah, China, for all intents and purposes, eating out of our hands compared to where it had been too.
Oh, completely. 100%.
They hated what they had to do. They were literally bowing down to Trump. And you brought up the 50 million or the $50 billion or 50 million that they were supposed to purchase. Here's Donald Trump talking about that with the farmers yesterday. And thank God somebody is bringing the farmers' plight to light. And it's not a Democrat. Sorry, Dems. This isn't 1980 anymore. It's 2024. And there's a reason why people in the past who voted Democrat are now switching to Donald Trump, because they know they have no hope in Kamala Harris.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you and a special group of people, the farmers. Nobody's done for farmers what I've done. Unfortunately, they haven't followed through. We made a deal with China. Was one of my best deals that I made. I made a lot of good deals, but we made the USMCA, Mexico, Canada, which was terrific. But we had a specific deal with China where they were going to buy $50 billion worth of farm product. And it's interesting how we got there, because when the negotiation was going on, and it was a nasty negotiation, and I said to the farmers, just stick with me, because we're going to do it. They're great negotiators. They're not going to go that fast. Just stick with me, because you never had anybody negotiating for the farmers before me as president. And my people, I said, what are the numbers we're talking about? And they said 15 million, 15, not 50. I said, all right. So it's $15 billion worth of product that they were going to buy, because they've been taking advantage of the farmers for years. This was like a penalty to China. And I thought they said 50, not 15. So the negotiations. I said, how are you doing with the 50 billion? No, sir, we're close to 15. I said, what do you mean 15? You said 50. I said, no, I want 50. They said, that's not what we said. We said 15. I said, that's okay. Ask for 50. Tell them we have to have 50 billion, not 15. And I got it.
That's right. He did, because it's Donald Trump, and Donald Trump gets crap done. He knows how to make deals happen. He's been doing it for a long time. And the best part about this entire race, he's already proven. He's already had the job, and he got an A. We're the best modern day presidents we've had by far, specifically when it comes to the economy, specifically when it comes to our standing in the world, specifically when it comes to making America great again, specifically to not having any wars going on at that time, unlike any of his predecessors. Guess what? Donald's showing us. He has already shown us, which is why if any Democrat or people try to say, oh, he's going to be so mean, he's going to go after his power. No, he's already proven it. And he's already stated on the record multiple times, I don't have time for revenge on how I've been treated. I don't have time to go after people. There's so much damage that has taken place in the last almost 4 years. We got to get to work within the first few minutes to try to get this country back on track.
Yeah. Well, and our one day liberal listener that secretly loves us, and that's why he listens all the time. He said, well, who do we think is going to pay the taxes if these tariffs are put in place? The consumer. Yeah.
He's so dumb. But he's dumb.
But here's the
dumb.
thing. So, but he actually, whether he knows it or not, he brought up a brilliant point. That is exactly the point.
Democrats cannot be this dumb. Well, yeah, maybe they can be.
Well, yeah, because he's putting out a really great point, and this is why you don't want to start doing these types of things. That's exactly what Donald Trump is saying. If you do this, we are going to put tariffs on it. So you are going to put your fellow Americans in a predicament that should not happen. Just like when we depend on foreign entities for our oil, they get to jack up the prices whenever they want to. And guess who pays for it? The American people. It's the same when we depend on other countries, whether it's for pharmaceuticals or for food, anything that comes in, they can jack the prices up. And guess what? We end up paying for that. So that's exactly a reason why we should not tell John Deere, you know what? Yeah, move your manufacturing and set up in Mexico. No, do it here. You know, John Deere is an American product. Do it here so that we don't have to put tax tariffs on it.
This is like teaching calculus to a kindergartner. The rest of us understand it, but the small-brained person does not. But it's how he grew up. I feel bad, and I don't want to get in. That's why we shouldn't even bring him up, and just because of how he was raised, and he didn't have good schooling, and I feel bad, and whatever. It is what it is.
But I think that the point that is really important right now in America, and these are some of the things that we need to look at when we are asking Kamala Harris for policy, and when we're looking at Donald Trump for his past policy, his future policy, these are exactly the things that we need to start taking a look at, is, you know, starting to produce things and be more self-reliant on America. Make America great again. Who cares about China or Mexico or any of these other countries? So we're just supposed to allow all of these other countries to manufacture things so that we don't have to pay the price? That's not how it works.
He's a leader, and this is what's happening. And this is why he continues to dominate the polling. Even the New York Times liberal polling has Trump leading in every swing state yesterday, as we continue to show. New York Times, the liberal outlet, which is just awesome. Last night, Donald Trump in Pennsylvania, of course, sold out crowd. People jam-packed in, people jam-packed outside. Look at the scene last night in Pennsylvania. I love it when we check this out. I mean, just look at it. My voice may not sound great over the video, but look at this. Once again, Donald Trump, wherever he goes, dominating. And boy, oh boy, did he look good last night. He got off. He started talking about that just brutal interview with Kamala Harris and Oprah. And once again, Joe's into comedy. Joe says Donald Trump is a great comedian. He has terrific timing. He has terrific delivery. And he started talking about this last night. And here is Donald talking about that interview that we saw.
You can't answer a question from... Now she gets out. Oprah Winfrey, who I used to know well, she used to love me until I decided to run for politics. Oh, let's go to Mar-a-Lago, Donald. I love the place so much. No, she used to love me, but once I ran for politics, that was the end of that, and that was okay with me. I couldn't care less, because we got to make our country great again. We're going to make it great again, greater than ever before. But Oprah would ask just a simple question, and you get this crazy answer, or you don't get any answer. Just, this is not a president. We had 4 years of this. We're not going to have 4 more years. We won't survive it. She can't answer a question.
Yeah. I mean, that Oprah, I watched more of it last night because it is so funny. Oprah, you could tell every bone in her body was cringing, and she was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that this woman is saying it. But the more you listen to it, I think we showed a clip yesterday, but the whole entire interview is cringe. It's just the woman is just not smart.
Yeah, I know. She's dumb.
How did she?
She's dumber than a box of rocks.
I don't get it. Well, we know how she got in her previous
and
positions.
as my dad says, crazier than a shithouse rat. I mean, she is all the above. Do people really sit down and watch her and appreciate her and go, that is one smart woman. I cannot wait for her to run this country. I promise you, there are people, especially black women, because they need something to grab onto for her. They do. I know a woman who is 3 times, 4 times as intelligent as Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. She's a black woman who I went to school with. Respect the hell out of her outside of her politics because of how she grew up. Mm-hmm. You always go to the color or somebody who's associated with the color of your skin. Mm-hmm. Over like totally opposite of what Martin Luther King wants. She's all about the color of the skin, not the content of your character. Mm-hmm. I guarantee she thinks she is.
Right. Well, what I would love to know from your friend, I would love for her to come in and decipher for
we got some Democrats lined up, but it's going to be hard for people. I've already been asked by 2 Democrats to come on, St. Louis County Democrats to come onto the show.
Well, I would love that. And maybe they can decipher her answers for us because if she is so smart and she makes sense, because I don't get it.
Republicans, on the most part, and you look at things from a logical standpoint, you will not understand what you hear. You'll be more frustrated after and have less opinion or idea of why they do what they do.
Right. Well, I need someone to tell me when Kamala Harris is asked about her policy and what she's going to do for our country, and then all of a sudden she starts talking about aspirations and ambitions. I just want to know what's the takeaway? What's the takeaway from that? Because she doesn't ever answer the question.
No, she doesn't. Last night, Donald Trump at his rally in Pennsylvania talked about how the country is going to hell in the handbasket pretty much if she is allowed back in to do something at the White House.
As you know, in Pennsylvania and all over the place, actually, but when they say we're 3 points up or 4, there's no way. It's got to be a hell of a lot more than that. It has to be. You know, polls are fake also, just like these people, the fake news. They just... We proved that. We proved that a lot. Well, I just want to thank you. We're here today because early voting begins in Pennsylvania over the next 2 weeks. And we need each and every one of you to go out. Just don't take anything for granted. We have to win Pennsylvania. Go out and make a plan to vote early, vote absentee, or vote in person on election day. But you got to get out and vote. You got to say to your husband, Harry, get the hell off that couch. We can't take any chances because our nation is at stake. Our nation is going to hell. What they've done to our country at the border with inflation, with that Afghanistan nightmare that was the most embarrassing day probably in the history of our country, the way they did that. Getting out was fine, but you get out with dignity and strength. What they did was so bad. When you look at October 7th in Israel, it would have never happened. And you look at the Russian attack of Ukraine, would have never, ever happened. Not even a thought of it. Think of it. Think of how different this world would have been.
No doubt about that. Donald Trump was very strong again last night. And the Republicans are, once again, doing what they need to do in Pennsylvania. Think about this. Luzerne County in Pennsylvania had more registered Democrats for the last 60 years until now. Now there are more registered Republicans for the first time in that important county in the state of Pennsylvania. Not only that, also coming out yesterday, Donald Trump gets the Polish community vote. The Polish community vote of Pennsylvania has now come out and said, we are backing Donald Trump. 800,000 Polish live in the state of Pennsylvania. That's massive. Yep. Once again, local media, national media will not tell you the facts and the truth like we do. We're about facts, not fiction. We're about facts, not feelings. Donald Trump and Republicans just continue to kick ass in Pennsylvania.
They sure do. And you have to remember, I'll be the person that will remind people about certain things that we so quickly forget about. The same media outlets that are putting out these fake polls that are saying that Kamala's ahead,
the national TV ones, but not all those. I'm telling you, it's not just because Trump's leading them. Look at the polling that I told you to look at, Rasmussen. Look at Real Politics, Rookler Politics. There are polls that I'm telling you that are down the middle. Not that you shouldn't listen to the TV ones.
Right. But here's the thing. So you have to remember that the same media that is telling you that Trump doesn't have a chance, that Kamala's ahead, that everybody's voting for Kamala, they're the same people that have lied to you every day over and over for the last 4 years that Joe Biden was healthy, that he was with it, that there was nothing wrong with him, that he had physicals on a regular basis, and that he was completely capable and competent of running this country. Then, you fast forward, his own party pulled him out of the race because they could not lie any longer. The gig was up. He was on stage for the whole world to see, and they couldn't do anymore. So if people are going to choose to believe these people that lied to them over and over and over for the last 4 years, then they've got other issues that they need to worry about.
Well, this is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust here. We've got Megan Marie Moret. We've got Projo in the house as well. We're here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, 9 to 10 a.m. or so, about that time. But you can catch our content every day on all of our social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube. You got it. We're there. Continue to grow. And we're grateful with the new format that we have and things that are happening. The national media and local media doesn't show you Donald Trump either when he does really nice things. Look at him at a grocery store yesterday, too. We show you these little things that he does, but going in, we all know prices are high. We know inflation's there. And Democrats will say, oh, he's just setting things up. Here's Donald Trump.
Honestly, the best crew in the world.
So how do you do against the big numbers?
I'm very proud because every year we've been up, except for the last 3 years because of this inflation. It's exactly what you said. Prices are up, but our sales are down. So we've had to get super creative in how we use our space to try to.
Prices go up and yet your sales are down.
Yeah. So it's been brutal just to try to. Thankfully, I have a great crew, great staff, my family work together.
For our listeners on the podcast, Donald Trump goes up and pays the bill of a woman and promises that he'll get those prices down once he's back in the White House, if you can't hear. And for those people who can't see. But he's been doing this stuff for decades. Just remember, all the Democrats and liberals love Donald Trump until he ran for president as a Republican.
My mom just got a bag of that, actually.
Is it good stuff? Good?
She says it's the best.
Is that the best?
She says it's the best.
If it is, I'll be in Washington, D.C., hopefully in the Oval Office. I'll send for popcorn. Okay?
All right, you see Donald Trump being Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's my kind of guy. I love him. I think that he's, I get the warm and fuzzies when I see him, when I hear him, because whether or not he's being like this and he's in a grocery store and he's offering to pay for people's groceries, or whether he's sitting, at a table and he's making big bad deals, I love him. I feel like his heart is in the right place. And so you just can't help but want this guy to be in charge and to take us, back to where we need to be. I just love him. And he has been doing this stuff for a long time, and it's not when cameras are around. And there have been what?
Somebody says Utz chips or the bets are Utes or Utz. Utes? Is that what they are? Utes?
I don't know. I don't know.
I've never even heard of them.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah. Utz pretzels are so good.
I love him so much. He's always been that way. Me too, Megan. So you see what people are saying. And of course, there has not been one man in the history of this country who's had more fake charges, who's had more fake trials, who's had more fake everything thrown at him, assassinations on top of it, because they know if this man gets to president, their game is up. Their dirty game is up. Their dirty little secret is no more secret. And he has already sealed the deal, letting everybody know not only will he release the JFK information, he's going to get the Epstein list released. He's going to go after these perverts and all of these nasty, dirty people who have been running this government for the last 4 years. And he's going to drain the swamp. Yes. And that's why he brought along his good buddy now, RFK Jr. There is a reason. And he's assembling the crew, all of the waste, the Eli Musk of the world, the Tulsi Gabbard, people who are all former Democrats who are now independents. There is a reason. And it burns liberals. They can't stand them because they know their pride is just burning their hearts and their stomachs alive. And it's interesting. There's a reason why nobody watches liberal news or liberal radio or the liberal podcast. They don't have any numbers. The MSNBC numbers are brutal.
Yeah.
Just look there. That's why you know who's in this country. There aren't that conservatives and Republicans are in the majority, which is why you have to remember this. You're in the majority. You are in the majority, but it's those loud little voices that make you go, "Oh, I can't upset somebody." Oh no, you are in the majority. Know it. Act with confidence. Act with politeness. And you go out and you spread the good news because it is good news. Yeah. The conservative values is good news.
And, the deciding factor for many of these Democrats that have decided to leave the party that they were a part of for so long is because they saw the weaponization of our judicial system. They saw so many things that were unfair, unconstitutional, and disgraceful, quite honestly. And just because they're Democrats does not mean that they don't still believe in the Constitution. And they were well aware and could see what was happening. That was one of the biggest deciding factors why the Democrats left, because they know and they realize that Donald Trump is not a felon. They realize when you actually sit down and you look at the facts brought to the table, when you look at the Allen Braggs and the Tish James and the Fani Willises and all of these other people that clearly, absolutely just hate Donald Trump, that they came and they brought a bunch of bullcrap to the table. They twisted it, they turned it, they manipulated it, and it's going to come back on them, just like it slowly is now. All of these things are starting to come back. Jack Smith, all of these things are starting to fall apart for the Democrats. And I think that we're going to see a day when all of these bullcrap misdemeanors that were brought in and then manipulated into felonies, that's going to fall apart too. Done. And then what are you going to have?
They don't have anything.
Then what are you going to have?
They don't.
Nothing. You've got nothing.
And that we just try to educate people. And here's the thing about it. We don't want to ruin your day or your life, but you have to be educated. You can't just go home and put your head in the sand. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I'm not going to worry about this. No, you need to worry because that life has changed. Yeah. We educate you so that you know it, not to ruin your day, but so that you understand truth, because you can't have a good life unless you have truth or unless you're going to stick your head in the sand. And you know about that. But there is good news. Donald Trump's also coming back October 5th, where the assassination attempt took place. He is going back to Butler. He is going to speak October 5th. Donald Trump says, you know what? He gives a big middle finger to the Secret Service, to the three-letter organizations, to the man and whoever else was a part of that situation. He's like, you're not going to beat me. I'm going right back to that damn place, and I'm going to take care of business, which is awesome to freaking see. The other thing about Donald Trump is when these numbers continue to go up in his polling, the attacks are going to continue to come at him over the next month and a half to 2 months. Don't think it's going to stop. But his support isn't just here. I saw a video yesterday, Megan, of Hindus doing, they were doing their rituals. They even put the red dot in the middle of his head to protect him.
Yeah.
He's got support all across the world.
Yeah.
Look at this float we're going to show you. The float that we're showing you is from Japan, and it's happening in countries. We've shown you, and we've seen massive rallies for Donald Trump all over the world because people recognize him as a bastion of hope, a bastion of freedom, a man that's going to settle down the world because the world was doing so much better when he was taking care of the United States. We need one of those, baby.
We sure do.
Rolling down the street coming here to Strategic Air Services.
Japan for Trump.
Look at that. Those are the Japanese with that. That is awesome.
But again, you see,
it's going to be huge.
Here's what foreign countries realize. And I think that they realize it more than our own American Democrats. They realize that if we continue to have a weak administration running our country, America's not the only person that's compromised. Everyone else around the world is also compromised. Why? Because
New World Order.
Exactly. And we have got to have somebody get back in and take control, because all of these are these foreign adversaries and all of these whacked out leaders that are just licking their lips, just waiting for the opportunity to pounce on, countries, the likes of Israel. They know that Donald Trump will get back in and he will make people be accountable for their actions. And he's just going to say, no, you're not going to do this. No, you're not going to invade wherever you think that you can just go in and, take people down. People realize that. And I wish that Americans would realize that as well.
Well, we're starting to get more and more truth as well. This is interesting too. And I love, just to remind you, Donald Trump is the same. He has nothing to hide. He continues to do interviews. You know what the Democrats are now saying? Like, oh, well, Kamala doesn't need to do the interviews. That's their spit on it. If you're losing, you want to go and talk more. Literally, I've had Democrats say that. Once again, they're dumb. The D in Democrat stands for dumb, delusional, and disgusting when it comes to their policy, if they even know what their policy is. But we already know who Kamala is, and she's the same person she was here back in 2018. And I'm so glad all the videos of her are resurfacing. Local news, national news won't show you because they're not worried about the facts. They're worried about your feelings. We're worried about the facts. Listen to Kamala in January of 2018, once again, chanting with people in support of not sending illegals back to where they came from.
With education, down, down with deportation. Up 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 with education, down, down with deportation.
This woman is such a moron. I don't care what anyone says. Running for president or not, this woman is a total moron. Does she even know what she's doing? Does she hear herself? Does she hear what she's chanting? Again, she is the queen of flip-flopping. She says one day that there should be deportation. She says the next day
Kevin says she's so awkward and fake, Megan.
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
Kimberly says Trump should use that in one of his ads.
She literally, you guys, she wants to decriminalize illegal aliens. Yet, does she forget that she's out chanting, doing her thing, her what do you call it, like air pistols with her hands all the time, chanting, we want deportation. How are we supposed to rely on this woman, depend on this woman to make decisions for us? I truly feel like we're in the twilight zone. Like, how is it that in America, I love this country so much. We are the luckiest group of people on the face of this world to have the country that we do, to have the Constitution that we do, to have the rights that we do. And then we've got this joker that is running to lead our country.
Well,
I don't get it.
Remember yesterday we were talking about the horrible, sad news in our St. Louis area, officer killed by an illegal who was impaired, who has already been in trouble. And how many of the stories have we shown when it comes to the illegals coming into this country with sexual assaults, rapes, robberies, you name it, murders? And listen to Kamala and an oppressor talking about, those nice illegals in this country. This is Kamala Harris, people. Local news, national news won't show you, but we do because we're worried about the facts, not the feelings.
Having done the work I've done, it is our undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit crime.
Why is that funny?
So let's get our notions together about what we're talking about.
I mean, why is that funny? So she's trying to say that the illegal aliens are the least likely people to commit crimes. How do you know? Like, where are you getting your statistics from? I'm sorry. That's right. Because you don't have an accurate number of how many illegal aliens have come into this country, because most of them are gotaways. I mean, we're looking at over 300,000 children alone, just children, minors alone, that we have zero clue where they are, like literally completely vanished, unaccounted for. And so she's going to sit here and try to give the American people some kind of, legitimate statistic on the crime of illegal aliens.
And that says
undocumented.
She does that because she's mental. Somebody else says she does it because she doesn't know what to say. And when she gets nervous, she starts laughing like that. Like we've already seen, she's not stable, which is why she has not won any elections.
Yeah, but go ahead and make decisions for our country. I mean, the girl can't even complete a sentence without falling apart.
Well, before we end the show too, if you want any other reasons on why not to be a Democrat or follow a Democrat, look at this video. It just upsets me. Celebrating war. Zelensky is in the United States, by the way, campaigning for Democrats. And here's Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, literally getting off on signing rockets. They're going to be used in Russia, like celebrating it. And look at Zelensky in the background. This little douchebag, who is as fake as they come. And by the way, we're still giving them $1 billion a month. We're funding Ukraine throughout all of this whole situation with no checks and balances in a war that will never be won. And there is the governor of Pennsylvania, like acting like it's a really good and big deal to try to get more funding for Ukraine, money that's laundered and put back out into campaigns and all kinds of other dirty crap. We have broken those things down. It's literally Zelensky is being allowed by Democrats to come here and campaign for Democrats and for Kamala Harris 40 to 50 days before an election. Even Eric Schmidt, the U.S. Senator from Missouri, was tweeting about this yesterday going, "You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. That's how bad this is."
Yeah.
I mean, they think that's a good thing. This whole Ukraine lie, this whole Ukraine Ponzi scheme is what it is that is being played in Americans by Democrats. That goes bye-bye when Donald Trump comes into office. He already said he'll end that war within hours.
Yep. Trump said that only Zelensky can come to our country, and every time he does, he leaves with $60 billion in his pocket. Every time he comes to visit us, he's like, man, he is one lucky guy.
Which is another reason why you need to think twice about conservatives and Republicans who back Ukraine. Well, as Nikki Haley, one of the worst politicians this country's ever seen when it comes to acting like she cares and then saying, well, it's not a lot of the budget that we have. I was like, what? Where's the principle? Mike Johnson, another Ukraine
Yeah, there's a lot of Republicans that are warmongers. They love it.
But those are the rhinos. They are.
Yeah.
And they have a history of it as well.
And we'll call them out too, because what they're doing, in Ukraine right now is not what's best for our country. For some reason, we're supposed to go around and monitor all of these little different, things that are going on in the world. And we have to make sure that if we're the ones giving money and weapons, that we are on the right track to ending what is happening, to having some sort of, a solution at the end of the day. And we're not. We just keep dumping more money and more money and more money. And why? Because we don't want Russia to get the resources that Ukraine has. We want to have them first. Putin and Donald Trump, they had an agreement, and it went south when the Biden administration went in. And we're seeing that happen all over the world right now. So again,
war makes money.
It sure does.
War makes money, which is why every president has had a war besides Donald Trump, because Donald Trump does not need to be bought and paid for, and his policy speaks for itself. He put forth a vision. He put forth a plan, and then he executed that plan for 4 years. And we were in a much better situation than we had been. And now we see what life is like without Donald Trump, which is why so many more people are coming to his side. I actually had a Democrat yesterday who tried to say, NBC says he's only going to get 5% of the vote for African Americans, then maybe 5 to 10%. And that's all they'll get is 5%. And then I saw this guy and I said, guess what? I said, I'll bet you $10,000 right now he gets over 10% of the African American vote. And you know what that Democrat did? That Democrat cowered, like most of them are when it comes to their stats and when it comes to their mouths, because they say stuff that doesn't mean anything and they have no facts. But it was great putting this little guy in his place, that's for sure, because all it takes is a conservative who knows policy and truth to shut up a Democrat. It's like throwing holy water on that evil. It like immediately does away with it, because conservatives and the conservative policies throwing that holy water.
That's right. The truth. It's called the truth.
I'll be ripped for saying that. Yeah, whatever. Hey, by the way, it wouldn't be a day unless Joe Biden. By the way, you brought it up earlier, Megan. You brought it up. Kamala Harris and all those Democrats. Oh, Joe Biden is so good and fit for office. This mother trucker yesterday, he literally, he continues. I mean, this guy, he should not be in office. He should be gone, but they're keeping him there, and God knows what's happening. Just listen to what he says, and if you can't hear it or if you don't understand it, we'll explain it right after. But this is another problem of the last 4 years.
You know, I thought when I got to be president, I'd get to do things that I want to do, but my staff tells me what I can't do.
We know.
Do it anyway. All the young women, the young kids out there that are out there, come on up and do this when we stand behind me when we do this. Come on. You know, I thought when I got to be president, I'd get to do things that I want to do, but my staff tells me what I can't do.
He's telling you that his staff is telling him he can't have young women and young girls on stage behind him.
That's right. But he's going to do it anyway.
This is the sickest, most disgusting, even worse than Obama. We knew Obama was gay. He's just a liar. This guy has shown us nothing but pedophilia and nastiness in his videos, and strangeness and smelling and touching and grabbing.
But Vic, what I find funny is
evil.
The other day when he had no clue who he was supposed to introduce,
yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. He says, "Who am I supposed to introduce next?" And then
who's next?
And then he gets all mad. He's like, "Who's next?" And I'm just like, "Hey, here's the deal." Like, they're just like, you know what? The guy's almost out of here. Let's just let him burn it down. Just whatever. When we can't keep, trying to control everything that he says, everything that he does, because he's just out of control. He's not regulated at all. So just when I'm starting to think, that they're just like, let the guy go, then he, gets up and says something like this. And why do you ask? That his handlers say that he's not allowed to have children up on the stage?
Yeah, we know why.
Yeah, because he awkwardly sniffs, and caresses, whispers into young children's ears, makes them super uncomfortable for the world to see. And that is one thing that they're not willing to let people see, because the election's right around the corner. And, if Kamala and Joe Biden are still connected, they are, whether people want to admit that or not. They are the same. She's still the vice president. It's still the Biden Harris. And so they just do not want the world to see what a sicko he is, and that she has been a part of that for the last 4 years. And, so yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong in thinking that we were just going to continue to see, Joe just fall apart, and people just kind of be like, wow, he's almost out anyway. Just let him go. But no, he's still getting directions from his handlers.
The fact that Democrats are not trying to remove him just shows how evil they are. And I'm sorry, if you're a Democrat and you don't condemn this man being in office and what he has done, something's wrong with you. It's your pride or it's your brain, and neither one is good. Maybe it's both. I know some people, it's their pride and their brain. The problem with that whole situation is the fact that you get. Chris Steiner said, Obama's not gay, but his boyfriend is.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
I've always heard Obama's a very good catcher. He's a good receiver.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's good. He likes playing ball, and he's a good receiver.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. So you can, I guess somebody said he's gay, but, his boyfriends have told us that he is gay, and they've already told us under oath and on national TV about his encounters with his lovers. And if that was false, they would have been sued mightily, but they're not false.
Gosh, I want these Epstein files.
There's all kinds of proof.
I want to know the dirt on all these people.
That's the best part is when those guys came. It was just in the last year when they came forward with Tucker Carlson and others about Obama being gay. They showed it and nothing and there were no lawsuits because he signed paperwork stating that everything he was saying was 100% true and could show it. There's a reason why Obama didn't go after him because Obama couldn't. Obama had those encounters, and that's all right. Be who you are. You're gay. That's fine. You were the first gay president. That's fine.
Right.
It's all good.
And Tim Walz
just admit it and don't lie to the American public.
Tim Walz could be the first secret gay vice president.
And just be honest about it.
If that's the way
be who you
it turns
are.
out. It's not going to turn out that way though. I mean, but that was just a funny. That was
your gayness has nothing to do with the policy. We want to talk about the policy. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Hi, Monage Day. Nice to see you on our chat line.
Yeah, we love it. And by the way, you can jump into the chat line all the time. We appreciate that. We're grateful for the advertisers.
You guys
we
are
have
funny.
Too.
I mean, I just sit here. If you guys see me look down, look a little unregulated like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, and I just start laughing for no reason when I look down, it's because I'm reading your comments that are just hilarious.
Yeah, Gary says, picture this. Big Mike's that pitcher delivering the pitch, so to speak.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, he's delivering the ball to Obama that Obama catches if he's the pitcher.
Yeah. Well,
there you go. Special thanks to Complete Auto Body Repair, show sponsor, the best, and I mean the best when it comes to taking care of your vehicle, whatever it needs, A to Z, from bumper to bumper, including the tires. They get you in, they get you out. They don't nickel dime you. I take my cars there. So many people go there. Love it. Absolutely love it. And not only that, that they're not going to look at an issue and just kick you out the door. They do other tests. They run those tests. They're not charging you for it. Let you know, hey, you're going to need this or need that later. They have tons of jobs available too. And on top of it all, they're selling cars. Check them out. Complete Auto Body and Repair, CompleteAB.com, CompleteAB.com. The phone number 314-731-7999, 314-731-7999. Also, when it comes to any sort of injury attorney, personal injury, whoever you go with, don't go with anybody until you give David Gregory a call. His phone number is 314-619-4230. He is conservativeinjurylawyer.com, conservativeinjurylawyer.com. Any kind of accident, there's some other bigger name attorneys throughout the Midwest that you may recognize names. Guess what? They get the business and then they turn it over to Dave. They let Dave and his team go to work because Dave is the best. How do I know? I've used him not once, but twice. And he got me back more in my settlement than anybody else could have imagined. And if you use Dave, he's also going to give you an extra 5% of what his company would normally get if you say cancel this, and let him know you heard about him advertising on cancel this. If it's a religious freedom issue, it's a conservative issue, if it's a medical issue and your faith issue, and of course, personal injury, give Dave a call, 314-619-4230. One of our favorite places is Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley and Defiance. They're back open today. Yesterday and the day before, they had a water main break out in the parking lot. It was Lake Winty's. So they couldn't provide the food, the wonderful food, the wings, the smoked meats, the burgers, the pizza. But today they can. And they'll be back for lunch right now. Also, Rockwood charcoal. It's the best charcoal in America. Give it a shot. If you're not, you can get it at Ace Hardware. You can get it online, but the owner says, try to get it at Ace Hardware. He says those Amazon companies killed the little guy. They killed the small business owner. Rockwood charcoal. It's the best charcoal in America. It's literally made in Missouri where the best charcoal is made. It breaks apart in your hand. That's how you know there's no additives or fillers in that charcoal. And when it comes to sandwiches, one of the most unique sandwich shops you're going to find is Capriati's. They have the Wagyu beef. They roast the turkeys overnight. They slice and dice it the next morning. It is fresh. It is amazing. And their sandwiches are top notch. Very unique throughout the St. Louis area. Jonathan brought it from Vegas. It was so good. He's like, I got to bring it to the St. Louis metropolitan area. They also do an amazing job with catering. They're open 8 in the morning till 8 p.m. at night. Check them out. Capriati's, or is that 9 to 9? I believe it's 9 to 9. Capriati's, 9532 Manchester Road. And of course, 50 basis points were dropped in the mortgage industry Now it's time to look at those houses. Give Megan Livingstone a call, 314-249-1708, 249-1708, Megan.Livingstone@exprealty.com, Megan.Livingstone@exprealty.com. You need a positive approach. You need a safe approach, but you also need a measured approach. One where you're keeping on track with the goals that you set out from the start. So you're not letting your emotions get too high or get too low, but you're staying the course. And that's where Megan comes in. Before you sign with somebody, it doesn't hurt you to give Megan a call and let her know that you heard about it from cancelthisshow.com. All right. What a show again today.
Yeah. And did you know that the listener that I just asked and said hello to, she is listening from India. And I believe it's 8:30 p.m. there around.
I don't know. You've been to India.
Yeah. And I love India. I love the Indian people.
We have listeners from all over the world, though, if you didn't know.
Well, and I've never met anyone on the chat line from India. So welcome. Thank you so much. Love your people.
England,
love your country.
Germany. We've had Ireland check in. Australia's checked in. And that might be the first that we've had check in from India.
And thank you. She says she loves American people. Well,
all right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, we appreciate it as well, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us for cancelthisshow.com. As we leave, we want to remind you, this is an ad that we've put together with our marketing company about what we do here at Cancel This. And whether it's you or somebody you know or a business you know that wants to chime in with us, partner with us, let us know. And you can also show them the show or let us know. We can get them information when it comes to advertising. And we had some companies contact us from a national standpoint. We're trying to look at that. We appreciate any donations you can help with us. We have a donate button on cancelthisshow.com. But feel free to check out this ad, pass it forward. We're here on Thursday from 9 to about 10 a.m. again, Central Time. And we appreciate everybody liking, subscribing, sharing the shows. If you're not following us on all of our social sites, please do under Cancel This or some form of Cancel This. And if you need any sort of questions answered on how to find us, let us know. But we have videos, one that's it's already up 105,000 views in under a week right now on TikTok. So we'd like to think we're doing something right, and we appreciate you guys. So for Pro Joe and Megan Marie Moret, I'm Vic Faust here. Check out our ad and let people know if they want to hook up with us.